What is it, Schmitty? You're talking about my wine bottles, or what?
Yeah, I
You
said I
think?
see
Oh,
some bottles of wine on the rack there. I think in times like this, you need to take one of those bottles and
yeah, it was all the whole rack there in the back. It was all filled with bottles until yesterday. Yeah, until Corona started. Now it's all empty. No,
yeah.
Gary Smith,
Kurt,
you
how are
are.
you?
Well, we are still smiling and laughing, although we don't really have a reason for that, right? It's pretty serious what's going on.
Yeah, tough times, eh? Strange times, to be honest.
You are in the Netherlands, still on your little island there in
Yes.
Texel. What's going on there? Tell us a little bit about.
Well, we've had beautiful weather here. I mean, cold. It's been cold, but we've had blue skies for the last 10 days. So that's been amazing. I think that's what keeps everyone happy and smiling and outdoors. As soon as the clouds and the rain come back, it might be a bit different. But obviously, the whole world is all on about how can you say it, the panic, the coronavirus, the hysteria. It's all over, and it's even affecting the small island. I notice it when I'm running outside or walking outside. People walk around you. You know, nobody walks shoulder to shoulder past each other anymore. They stop even and they stand aside so you can walk by, or they expect you to do the same. So it's definitely affecting everybody.
And all the drop zones and wind tunnels are closed, I'm sure.
Yes, yes. I think, in fact, all over the world, except I hear through the grapevine, Paraclete is still open in North Carolina, but that might have changed daily. Who knows? But I heard a couple of days ago that North Carolina in XP Paraclete Tunnel was open, not the drop zone.
Yeah, this is the weekend after the Shamrock Showdown, and we
Yes.
haven't had a drop of rain, and we have had blue skies now, I think,
Oh,
for 3, 4 weeks. Not
yeah.
not a drop of rain and weather like this. So it's just blue skies, sunny, and all the time. And
That's that's Murphy's law, right? Murphy's law. If
Murphy's
you
law,
have
and
if you have a skydiving competition, it's going to rain.
yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, we were in Zephyr Hills when I last spoken to you. We were in Zephyr Hills with Qatar, and we left through there. But I was wondering what the weather would be like.
The last team that was still here from Europe was the Norwegian forward team, and they had completed 100 jumps still before they were had to go back, or
Yeah,
before.
fantastic.
Yeah, and that was also right before the Shamrock Showdown weekend. So and then
And was
after
it?
that, now I heard the jump plane every day until about a week ago, but
Wow.
not any. Yeah, they were going actually for quite a while here still, but
Okay.
now I think nothing is open anymore.
Uh,
So what are you doing? I mean, you are usually living on drop zones in wind tunnels.
yeah. Well,
Why
it's
you on it?
quiet. It's quiet now. Obviously, I was due to go with Hayabusa and Qatar to Algarve, April the 5th. Was my departure from here, but that's going to be cancelled for sure. I mean, I know with Qatar, I don't think they're going to leave. Hayabusa, the military has kind of shut them down. So April we can cancel. And then the next step is you hope you kind of live month by month. So I know now I'm at home right through April, and who knows when if tunnels open up, there's a chance to go and get some work, find some work. Maybe that's a possibility. But otherwise, I have to survive through until May. And May would have been Hayabusa in Prostayov. So, and then at the end of May, I don't know if you're on top of that, is that the IPC then make a decision about or the FAI about the Mondial. Does it go ahead? Do they change dates? Which I don't think they can because of the weather in Siberia and all of that. I don't think they can push it much later. But so we will all know end of May what's going to happen with our Mondial, and of course also the CISM, which is important for Hayabusa and Qatar, and of course all military teams. But closer to home for me, those two teams, we will then know, I think sometime also end of May, if the CISM goes on. Do they cancel the whole CISM, which is in June, which seems more likely. They could cancel the CISM meet.
And they have already postponed, they say, for a year the Olympic Games.
Yes.
which were in
Yes.
Japan. Japan was not much affected, but now it begins to spread in Japan. I just read that now the disease begins to spread in Russia. So they are basically at the beginning
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
where
yeah. I
we are
think
now.
I mean, as we've noticed, I think the same in America. The more you test, the more you find. If you don't test, you find nothing. You know, so it's one of those that if you don't run the test, you're not going to ever find the virus. Except, of course, people will get sick. But if you tested every single person here, even on the small island of Texel, you'll see more. Where, as opposed, I think right now we have had 3 cases, and I think of those 3, somebody was from the other side. So, but the more you test, you will find, and that's maybe what's happening in Russia. For sure, it's in the US. They test more. All of a sudden, tests are available. But yeah, so to go back to it, we don't know what's going to happen with our, not in fact, with the whole sport. I mean, we all survive through the sport. There's a lot of coaches. I mean, I spoke to Hayabusa this morning on WhatsApp, and I said to them that they must consider themselves very fortunate that they have salary. They salaried by the Belgian military. So in that sense, there are people who are okay, but there for sure in our sport, there's a lot of people that make money as freelancers, contractors, self-contractors, independent. And if you don't have a higher boss who's giving you money, you could be in trouble. Right now, we're hoping to get through it.
Yeah, we have hardly, I would say, in our sport, we hardly have any employment at all. Most of it is gig working, as they call it.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Employment doesn't exist. Probably in the manufacturing area, there's some kind of employment.
Yeah.
But in general, most people, packers, AFF instructors, people who work at the drop zones and
Yes.
in the wind tunnels, there is not much employment where the the employer has at least the opportunity to help
Yeah.
for a little while.
Yeah, I mean that's the disadvantage of being in such a small sport. I mean, if you look at the football, the soccer players all around the world, they earn millions. So for them to give back half their salary, you still have millions, and
Yeah.
you can sit out and you get paid to play, and now they're not playing. So they're sitting at home with their families, and you see all these videos of them dancing and doing these challenges. And by all means, that's great, but they're still earning millions sitting there. Where we're on the other side of it, where we go in our sport, we don't have that money. And drop zones that have closed, I've heard some of them, they've asked their staff to take less salary or no salary, saying we can't pay you, we can't afford to pay you. You're not doing the manifest, or you're not packing. The packers, obviously, it depends on what deal you're on. But there's companies, PD, companies that close. How do they pay their staff who are not working? I don't know.
Yeah, especially in America. I mean, America doesn't have really the greatest social system on the planet, and is a big part of the skydiving
Yeah.
world. Well, on the good side, though, you have to say that luckily, if you can say so, most of the skydivers are recreational skydivers, which means they actually have daytime job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and the daytime job is one where they may be employed by a company who may help them through the tough times. And even in the United States, now the government has just decided a program where they will make money available for small businesses and corporations to pay their workers. And
Right.
it's like in Europe, unemployment, where you're paid for a while at least. So at least they're trying to help out with that. But other than that, people at least have a job, except
Yeah.
for all the people who work at the drop zone or in the wind
Yeah.
tunnel.
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't have that privilege.
Yeah.
And while the active the skydivers, the recreational skydivers, if you would call them so, they have jobs usually at least.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to. I mean, let's hope there's a silver lining behind all of this, and saying that people will come back and say, "Well, I haven't skydived for 2 months or whatever it is, and now I'm going to put more money in and have a good summer." But obviously, those people have to have been earning money. If you're not earning any money, it's
Exactly.
hard to have any money to put
Yes.
in. But I stay on the positive side, and I say, let's hope this all turns in another 2 months. I'm hoping to. I think my wife Suzanne's going to kick me out of here anyway. She's never seen long. So within 2 months, I think that I'm hoping that this is all behind us. People are talking 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I think 2 months, and then we'll talk again. And let's hope I'm back out on the drop zone. I can't wait to be standing on a drop zone, hearing the plane going and parachutes in the air. But I'm hoping 2 months. That's my personal goal. That in May somewhere I'm either in Prostayov, or end of May, June in Prostayov. So
Suzanne is not the only one, especially for us. We are skydivers usually are very active people,
yeah,
people who do things, who are outside. We are not really experts in spending 24 hours within our houses and so forth. We're used to doing things outside.
yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to entertain myself. There's the artwork. There is you can take the canoe out. We got lots of water here in
That's true.
Florida. You can go on bike rides. That is isolation. You're isolating yourself that way. My kids like to go with me usually. But other than that, you're locked into your house more or less. You have to avoid social contact. Skydivers are not very good with that.
No. It's difficult. It's really difficult. But we at home here, we have a crazy dog, and I think he's worse. The dog is worse than me. So
Yeah, right.
I'm okay with that.
So let's see what were the latest things that we actually saw happening. We will not see much in the you say 2 months. Let's say, let's hope for the best, and it will be only 2 months. Maybe it will be quicker. Who knows? The economical impact of that, as we mentioned briefly, the people who coming out of this, let's say in 2 months, don't have so much discretionary money left any longer because they spent it, for living at this point. So we'll see how that goes. But what kind of activities were the last ones that you've seen? When did you spend the last time on a drop zone or in a wind tunnel?
Or wind tunnel a while ago, because everything with Hayabusa and Qatar has been aimed only at outdoor. So although Hayabusa did the wind games, I was not with them. I did one training camp with them in Ice Mountain in end of January. So just before they went to wind games, I was with Hayabusa in the tunnel.
What is Ice Mountain?
Ice Mountain is in Belgium. It's where Dennis's wife, Clementine, works. And it's very close to the Hayabusa headquarters, so it's easy for them. They all go in. In fact, Dave was coaching, and I think it was an Italian team, and just before Hayabusa started up. So it's a nice tunnel. It's inside a indoor skiing pista. But when we were there, it was very quiet, but a very nice restaurant inside it, and a lot of activity on the skiing side. Not so much on the tunnel, but that might have been the time of the year or the time of the month. But that was the last time I was in a tunnel, to be honest. And then it's only been outdoors, both Hayabusa and of course Qatar, and all aimed at the Mondial. So that was last time on the drop zone, Zephyr Hills, which was the beginning of this month of March until March the 14th. That's when we were called back. I think it was a Saturday. In fact, it was strange because it was in the middle of a jumping day. We had taken off with the Tigers and the Falcons, the 8-way, and we were on jump 4 or 5, I think 5. And Jeremy came to me and he said he's just got a message from the boss that the captain of the 8-way has to call. So, and it looks like it's over. And I said, well, we're going to go make one more jump because we were on the back-to-back anyway. And then by the time we were in the air, Abdullah, the captain of the 8-way, came to me or Jeremy, and they said the captain of the 4-way, Aziz, has to then also call back. And that was the end. So then within 2 hours, we were off the drop zone. And we had the Tigers, we had a cutaway with a canopy in a tree somewhere. So in between all of that, we had to go and pick up a canopy and then log out of the drop zone, sort everything out, and then they were heading home.
Have you heard from Qatar if they are affected there?
I have. I mean, they're also in lockdown. So I have contact with the team through the captain. and basically they're in lockdown, and they don't see. I mean, the airports are closed now, so you can't get in and out of Qatar right now. They're trying to obviously also keep everything away.
And they left. That was after the French delegation had left already,
Yes,
I believe.
one day after the French. I think the French
One
left
day after the French.
on the French left on the Friday, I believe, or the Saturday, and Qatar flew the Saturday or the Sunday. Some of them only got flights out, I believe, on the Sunday. Jeremy and I went out on Saturday, that same day. So we were lucky enough to get flights.
So those were probably less. Well, there were the Czech Republic closed down on the 13th. That's when you were still, no, that was about the same time. So 13th of April.
We left the 14th.
Yeah, so the Hurricane Factory was shut down on the 13th. But then there was still the Australian Outdoor Nationals at the beginning of the month. I think it was on the second week in March, so all at about the same time.
Yeah, Australian nationals are going on around then. I must be honest, I haven't even seen results through from that, you know.
Yeah, no big changes. Kinetics won
18.1 average.
Yeah, which is basically where they, you know, where I don't know how much everybody could train actually recently and leading up to all that. The same 8-way, I think the 8-way team was also the same that competed in Australia, basically.
Okay, and scores?
JR8 or what it was called. There was only a few teams with a few rounds different, so they didn't complete the 8-way competition there.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I didn't see scores for them.
Yeah, no big surprises or nothing. I'm trying to talk to Shannon. I saw him on a photo somewhere, but I don't know if he was really in Australia. I cannot imagine.
I saw. To get in touch with him. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Because I saw Boba when I was in Zephyr Hills, and we spoke about Shannon, but I can't remember if he said Shannon was in town or not. So then I'm not sure.
He is in town, so I'm hoping to hear from him soon. But those were the last activities that I know about. Australia, and then Austria had an indoor championship that's longer. It looks like everything is really shut down. I'm not aware of any indoor-outdoor activity anywhere on the planet at this point. If you hear something, let me know. I don't.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's worth contacting Kirk Werner or John D'Annunzio and see what they're doing. Maybe they have some footage and some stuff for you. But because they might, if the tunnels are open, they might have been training. I don't know how they schedule their camps, but I remember speaking to Matt, and he said to me they had one more week in the tunnel, but this was a week or two ago. But then yesterday, when I spoke to somebody, they'd said to me that the Paraclete tunnel was still open, drop zone closed, tunnel open.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask. That would be interesting to know.
I mean, they might be training still full time, but of course they're not jumping. It's sorry, not full time, but they might still be training hardcore, but only in the tunnel.
And the Golden Knights have their own wind tunnel still in Fort Bragg, right? If so they're isolated, but they have their own wind tunnel there at least.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Rhythm is training. You know, with Drew being part of the Rhythm four-way, maybe they're training. I mean, that's all stuff that you can look into. I haven't heard anything about it, but I mean, that would be interesting to see. That would be the US four-way and 8-way team. Are they training? And maybe they can send some footage so we can all watch at least. Well, let's say do something in our 2 weeks and our 2 months.
If anybody is managing at this point in time to be able to jump or fly in the tunnel, it's a big advantage. Imagine, let's say China is already back in action now, so they train full speed, full power from here on. Then the World Meet takes place in August. Nobody has trained. Everybody is so China wins.
It'll give them an advantage. Yeah, but if you speak to the US teams and they have been training, ask them to send you a couple of jumps. At least we can watch something on the internet.
Right.
At least we have some footage.
Okay, I'll get on the phone as soon as we're done here, Schmitty.
Perfect.
Okay, man, I'll let you go. Thanks very much for the update and your thoughts.
Yeah, well, sorry, it's a bit boring, but there's not much we have here, eh?
Well, we have to keep the spirits up, and there's enough to talk about always, but it's not stuff that is related to any contemporary events and stuff. So that's the downside of it. And there's always topics. I always have enough, but it's nice if you have some events happening, which are happening right now.
Yeah, true, for sure.
We can talk about Deland Magic 20 years ago,
Please don't. Well, maybe we can have a reunion. Hey, I'm counting those bottles of wine behind you, and if I see correctly, there must be 4 or 5 bottles of wine. Next time I speak to you, there should be less, eh?
Let me open one right now. I'm exhausted now anyway.
Okay, good.
Crazy world. All right. Good luck to all of us, Gary. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and good luck to you, man. I know it's tough in your shoes as well. There's no doubt, but we'll get through this together somehow.
There will be an end to it eventually.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Otherwise, those bottles of wine, eh?
There's bottles of wine.
Cheers, good.